I always have to sit here for a minute and wait for that little "you are live" as a little spinning circle. Stop spinning. But hello, everyone. Welcome to Monday again. And it's official. We are now halfway through November and we are on literally, we have about 30 days left to get all of our Christmas shipping packages selling done because you can't go all the way up into Christmas. It's like the cutoffs, I think, about the 17th, Friday the 17th is really like the last day you want to have things shipped in order for people to get them before Christmas. So is that crazy or what? Oh. But we are moving right along. You may hear some pounding in the background. Today is a very exciting day for me. And of course, it's going to show up on my video. I'm going to show up on my video tomorrow because that video is already in the midst of being edited. But it's probably going to show up on Wednesday's video is we're getting our aquarium set up. Like the aquarium I have had stored. How many years has it been now? 4 years. 4 going on 5 years I've had this aquarium in storage because you know how you know when you're just not someplace you're settled and going to stay for a while. And I feel so good about this house. Like, I just feel so good about this house. And so that was like one of the first things. I got a contractor here they're going to get it all set up. It's a saltwater tank. So we're going to have a beautiful saltwater tank right as you walk in the door. And they're going to come and do the maintenance on it for me too. So literally, I'm going to have that aquarium without adding to my workload. So that is happening. Of course, you see, I don't know, are you going to be all quiet now? Or are you going to talk to my friends? Bougie bird. Bougie's eating right now. Bougie will probably get a little loud here in a little bit. Bougie has settled in really well now. I was a little worried the first day. We don't know if it's a boy or a girl yet. We have to send in a feather and do a DNA test, but wasn't quite sure. All was well at first because we're calling it a he. Actually, Rachel calls it a she, so I don't know. But we were a little concerned. You know, she really was shy, and we're like, wait, this is supposed to be like a hand-raised baby, and she was just not where we want her. But she flipped a switch, and now she'll scream at me when I leave the room. And I have another cage because you guys know me in my collecting of cages. But I have a large parrot cage that has a little play yard on top, and I think I'm going to put that right here so that she can sit next to me while I'm at my desk. And we're gonna ditch the cage that's way up, even though we just got all of the new perches and everything for it. But we're very excited about the new bird. It was what I alluded to on Friday that I couldn't say anything yet because Rachel didn't know, but Rachel definitely knows now. So I couldn't. It's not like something I could put away for Christmas. So Bougie's a family bird. And we discovered, if you follow me on Instagram, you have probably seen the picture of Bougie helping me sort jewelry because we just found that out by accident. I had I've got my Goodwill jewelry jars that I sorted the other day over here, and man, she just was having a blast in those jewelry jars. So we love our animals. We love it, and we love that we have a landlord that said we can have a zoo, so we don't have to be afraid if like we bring in another pet or something. As long as we don't destroy her house, she is fine with us having pets. So pets we have. Let's see what you guys got going on over there. I'm kind of trying to follow the chat a little bit. How are sales? This is probably the weirdest fourth quarter in eBay history. I mean, there's just stuff going on that's frustrating and irritating and sometimes downright depressing. But we're going to talk about something today. On top of, I have one guest I'm bringing on, and then we are going to talk about your titles, because over on the Facebook group, we do a daily thread where you can post, at least, you have to list at least 2 items. This is kind of our little motivation, our little challenge. You list 2 items, you get to post a link to one of them in this thread. And I'm seeing some titles that concern me. So we're going to talk about that. Angela D sold her first item. Woot, woot. Now, see, and you get that little endorphin rush there. It gets a little bit addicting. Then you're going to want to do more and more and more and more. Sales have been low. Everyone wants to lowball prices. And this is another thing that really, really concerns me too, is there's different demographics of customers. What I teach you here on this show is to attract the customers who are not penny pinchers. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm a penny pincher, and you don't want me as your customer. I'm just saying. You want to attract the customers who are willing to pay what the item is worth. So you have to attract that customer because there is a plethora of the other ones out there. But we also have to really consistently keep our prices up so that across the board, people see higher values for things. And so even if they come in with a 50% of what you're asking offer, it's still a good offer and you can still make good money off of that. Can't find anything when you go thrift shopping. You know what I was thinking the other day? I live in a place where thrift shops are everywhere and there's good stuff, but I realize other people don't. But remember, there are other ways. If you want to do a resale business, there are other ways to find merchandise. Yard sales, and I know all around the country, there's places that right now yard sales are drying up because people were telling me this morning got their first snow. But if you do have yard sales, hit yard sales, estate sales, marketplace. Look on Facebook Marketplace for people selling quantities of stuff. Because I would imagine in the places where yard sale season kind of stops, you still have people who need to sell stuff. Put your own ad out there. Say, I buy stuff. And if you are niched, tell them what kind of stuff you buy. I would put, if it were me, I would say, I purchase old glass, something like that. See what comes at you. So there's ways to source that way. There's also maybe selling vintage and antique things is not going to be the best thing for you to do because you can't find that stuff. So be willing, if you need to do this reselling business to make money, to make income, and you can't find the things that you really want to sell, find things that there are an abundance of in your area. And so one of the things I was thinking of doing was going into stores like Tuesday Morning, Steinmart, TJ Maxx, those kind of discount stores, and showing you guys how to source from those stores. Hobby Lobby. There's all kinds of retail stores that you can actually go in and buy stuff and flip it on eBay. I used to do a lot of that. And if you are multi-channeled over on Amazon, a lot of that stuff can go over on Amazon as well. So I was thinking, would you guys be interested in seeing me do a video like that, where I just go into the retail stores for the purpose of sourcing for resale? Oh, Elaine, your sales are next to nothing. Yeah, and that's just it. eBay's recommendations. eBay still has this thing that one size fits all. And you and I both know that ain't the case. So the recommendations they're giving you, remember, are really based on commodity items. So, yeah. Now, I will tell you, I do not think, this is my personal opinion and experience. I do not think ending your listings and selling similar and doing like anything like that to reset things is the answer. I don't believe in that. I know there's a lot going on out there saying that that's the answer. That is not, that's everything that I advise and I do is from the perspective of running this like a business. You're a business person. You are the CEO of your company, no matter how big or small. This is a business. And so you have to look at things from that perspective and good business decisions. So I just don't believe it's a good use of time, number one. And number two, there's no, this is how I think of it too, there's no retail store out there that says, you know what, let's just close the doors and move everything off the shelves for a day and then reopen it back up. That's not how it works. So your eBay store is the same way. You know, just closing the doors by ending listings and then opening the doors back up, you know, by selling similar really doesn't change much, because you got to find the reason the item didn't sell in the first place. And it's usually one of three things. It's either pictures, price, or popularity, meaning is it a desirable item? Pictures, price, popularity, your three P's. So if those things aren't in place, it doesn't matter how many times you end it and relist it, you've got to solve that issue. So that's my perspective on it. Oh, so Elaine says, using good keywords, square photos on white background, thorough descriptions, competitive pricing based on comps. See, Elaine, I would have to see your store to give like more personalized advice, but I bet we could find something that could be improved upon. Maybe we could find something. So maybe send me an email and we can bring you on next week and go through your store if you want. And that offer is open to anyone. Like, I will bring on people every week now, because you guys seem to be enjoying that, and it's so much easier for me to talk, you know, face to face with someone in real time versus waiting for the lag to come through and see answers to things. So, what are you doing? Don't you know I'm live right now? Forgot I brought her in here and I closed the doors, but she hears all the activity downstairs. What's my thoughts on using liquid foam for breakables? You mean like that form fittings? Like, that sounds really expensive. Now, if you have super high priced breakables, I think it's fantastic. I mean, if that's a great customer perception, but I don't think it would be cost effective. I would worry about just the cost versus your profits. Something to think about. When packing peanuts and bubble wrap works just great. I've been using packing peanuts and bubble wrap for 30 years, you guys, and it's just fine. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. All right. So I think the best thing for me to do is bring on my guest for today, and we're going to talk about some questions that she has. And then we'll kind of segue into the title, because I'm sure titles will come up somewhere in here. So it's all going to kind of work together. So Amy, I'm going to bring you on here. Okay. Hello.
Hi.
Amy, I'm assuming your store name is Sentimental Connection?
Correct.
All right. You know me. The first thing I like to do is go do a quick Google search and see if I can find you really quick. Okay. Sentimental. Let me make sure I spell it right. Now, when you guys are searching for a store name, make sure you put the name and then eBay. Because if I just put in Sentimental Connection, I'm going to get like poetry. And there you are. You are the very first result. I love that.
Yay.
One of the big reasons to have a store, you guys, is that if you want to send people to your store by word of mouth or even through social media without a link, and you just say your store name, they can go search in Google for that. Whereas if you don't have a store, user IDs they're not, you can't find them. Every once in a while you can, but for the most part, you cannot. Nancy says, packing peanuts, yuck, just me. But you got to remember, it's about getting that item there safely. I mean, and I can tell you, every item that I have ever had arrive broken, and I have bought a lot of glass over my years, every item that's arrived broken has been in paper and not peanuts. Because you got to remember, those peanuts, that styrofoam it's got a shock absorbing factor. Paper does not. Paper is filler. Paper can cushion, like add space, but when it comes down to that, that slam on the ground, you're talking the difference between that little bit of shock absorption before it gets to the glass versus kind of just whack-a-mole. Think of it as airbags for your glass. But I know it can be annoying. Trust me, I know. I just opened a whole bunch of packages and they had peanuts. But then I'm like, oh, I get to reuse all these peanuts too. So, as a buyer, not a seller. Yeah, I understand. But Nancy, sorry, we're kind of going off on a tangent here, but I just have to make a case for packing peanuts because they will get your item there safely. And I guarantee you, if the item does not get there intact, and this is not all buyers, but there's a lot of buyers who are going to look at it and go, well, they didn't use the right materials. Like I have had a few things broken, that I've been sending out, and the people always say, it's not your fault. You packed this thing, for a whatever, a tsunami. So my buyers have always been pleased with the way it was packed and know that it's just the postal service. So, oh, you got all your items back from Germany, Tiger. Okay, all packed in bubble wrap. Everything survived through 3 planes and a night in Frankfurt. That's really good. You know what you're doing and packing that stuff up too. Why don't buyers leave feedback? You want my answer on that? People are lazy. Well, pure and simple. People are lazy. It's an extra step. It's like homework. They don't want to do it. So it's like it's not important to them. People want to buy their item, get their item, and move on. Usually who you're going to get feedback from is old school eBayers, who remember when that was so important. But yeah, you probably get 1 out of 10 buyers is going to leave you feedback. It is what it is. It is what it is. Okay. I'm just like, I'm reading the chat. Packing peanuts or bubble wrap? Both. It's not one or the other. It's both. Use both. Okay. All right. So I have, let me share my screen. I could have done this beforehand. All right. I have your eBay store up here now. All right, Amy, shoot me your questions.
Okay. So, my first question is, I picked up a, I can't ever say his last name, the Paul Dettel Frizen. Is that how you say it?
I don't know.
The lithograph. When I show you the picture, you're going to know what I'm talking about.
You show me, yeah.
Okay. This is what it looks like.
Oh, let me blow that back up. Oh, yeah. I don't know how to say it either.
Okay.
But yeah, very, very popular artist. Okay.
So this is one of his prints, which are, very 1970s, I think, because he worked for, I think, Warner Brothers Studios for like 20 years and then didn't make a success or left that and went, and a lot of his stuff was put in calendars and things like that. So I grew up in a house that had this stuff everywhere, and my sisters had this in their house and things. So, and I have a really large print that I'll never get rid of, but it's just on cardboard.
Yep.
And I actually found this in a Goodwill bin, and was like, oh, this could be something. So I threw it in the cart because obviously it was the bins. And I didn't know. So I looked up comps, and there was one that just the print, not this print, but
they're asking how you spell the last name.
okay.
So if you call up the letters, I'll type it in the chat.
It's DETLEFSEN.
Detlefson, something like that.
Okay. So my question is, do I list it like this, or do I buy a frame and add value to the listing?
Okay, well, let's go over to eBay.
So I believe there's a comp for just a print, and mine I think is I can't remember the size of the one that sold, just the print that sold for $30.
Okay, so you guys know I always like to search by highest first. Now all I did was put in the last name of the artist, because I don't know if somebody called it a print, I don't know if they called it a litho, I don't know, if they called it art. So I'm trying to get the maximum amount of results, unless I get so many results that I need to take some away. So here we go. Here's like the most expensive. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go over here to sold. And now take a look. There's 99 results. So framed, 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 framed. So what you're going to look at is how much is this artist selling for in the frame? And you got to remember too, these are like the original frames.
I know.
So that makes a difference too.
Yeah.
Because I don't see anything that looks like it's been reframed yet. But now here's one that looks like it is just like yours. It's not the same print.
Right.
But it's not framed. And
is that
sold for... So you guys know how you figure this out, right? You take the one before and the one after. So 70 and 60. So this is like $131 on this one. And this is 125. So we know it's sold. Well, gosh.
I think different pictures have different popularity based on subject matter.
I'm just trying to figure this out, because if this one sold for $124.99 and this was only listed at $125, but it was a best offer, I'm not quite understanding how that fits in there. But anyway, so it sold for about 120. It sold for almost full price.
They're also varying sizes. Like my two sisters, the ones that they had were in they're in landscape size. And then the one that my mom and dad had when I was a kid, that's now in my basement, is a perfect large square, where the one that I have is a 12 by 16.
What I want you to look at, though, is as you're looking through the results, to first see, this is where we tend to want to find like the exact thing right off the bat and narrow it so much that we lose sight of the overall general pricing strategy. So like in this case, I'm just looking at the difference between the framed and the unframed first. Then as we dig a little deeper, now we can look at, is it size to size? Because now we'll look a little closer for not only the size, but like the one that you have. So here's like a 14 by 20, which yours looks like it could be somewhere around that.
Mine is a 12 by 16.
A 12 by 16. So not too much smaller than this. And now we're getting into like the $30, $40 range. And so going back to your question, well, here's the exact one. Going back to your question, I don't see a single one that is sold with a reframe. It's been the original frame. So I don't think going out and spending what, 10 at the least on a frame.
Right.
Adding that
Right.
is going to add more than $10 value.
Okay.
And it's going to make the shipping go up substantially.
Okay.
So you are better off selling this like in the $40 to $50 range as an unframed version.
Okay. All right.
And
That's perfect. That was my exact question. Yeah.
And you
No.
got one like this was auction. I wouldn't do it on auction. I would do
No.
it as I do it as best price, best offer, fixed price. And based on what I see here, I'd probably list it at like $49.99
Okay.
plus shipping.
Yes. Yes.
Don't do that free shipping thing on
No.
this.
No.
Yeah, he's popular. He's very popular. So
Yeah.
and you got it in the bin, so it probably cost you what, like 50 cents?
Well, so it's $1.29 a pound. And so if you average that out by ounce, 8 cents an ounce, I figure it's like 60 cents.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Is what I think.
It's like right in there. Yeah. So $50
Yeah.
would be a really good flip.
Well, it's like I told you in my email, I've been surrounded by old stuff my whole life. So I recognize old things
Yeah.
that are like this. And I didn't know, I just knew what it was because of being around those prints
Right.
my whole life. And it was in the bin. And
Yeah.
the thing that made me sad was there was another one. There were two, and the other one was just like the big one that I have in my basement, but it had been all scratched up. So I was super sad about that. But this one's in really good condition because it's just cardboard. I mean, that's what they're printed on. They're just
printed on.
they're just
And
printed
it's got
on
that
cardboard.
little texture-y, like they were trying to get fancy with
Yeah.
trying to make it look like a painting.
Like a painting.
A little
Yeah.
bit of texture in there, yeah.
And I just know because, and the reason my store is called Sentimental Connection is because I'm a super sentimental person. And I just know someone somewhere, this print hung in their grandma's house,
Yeah.
or,
Absolutely.
whatever. And I'm all about
it has value.
that.
Yeah.
I'm all about that nostalgia and making that sentimental connection. That's why I named the store what I named it.
I love it.
And that, and the fact, because I'm such a sentimental person, I have so much stuff like this. But yeah, so that was my number one question. So if we have time for more, I've got more.
We do, but let me ask you this, because this goes to that whole pricing strategy I was talking about early on, where people are pricing things too cheaply. But here's the flip side of that. I'm all about selling it. So let's say you listed at $49.99. Now we know you pay like 60 cents for this.
Right.
If
it doesn't matter.
offers you, say, $30, are you going to take it?
I would.
There you go. That is how you sell things, guys. Now, yes, it seems like a lowball offer that would come in, but we looked at the comps and they do run down into the 20s and 30s. So there is no set market value. So it is what somebody's willing to pay for it at the time. And now I wouldn't take that, like if you list it in the first night, somebody does that, that wouldn't be like the first offer I would take. But once it's been listed at least for a week and you didn't get any other action, and then you get that $30 offer, grab it, sell it, flip that $30 into other great stuff. And that's how you keep the sales going. So, and that doesn't necessarily cheapen things for other sellers because you did list it at the $50 range. So everybody get what I'm saying there about that? Don't be afraid to take offers. It's, my old saying is like, you got them on the hook. You're reeling them in now. And if you pull too hard with a counter offer, they can break away. You lose the fish. And then you could sit on it for a while. So you always, and it's not, this is the tough part about this, is there isn't just like one answer, one way that works for everything. It's really going to come down to what the item is, how long you've had it listed, what you have into it, all of that stuff. So it's on a case by case basis, but the general rule is you can't go broke making a profit. Like that's the general rule. All right. What is question number 2?
Okay. So, well, My next question is, okay, so I have this. Can you
Oh, that got
see it?
like a calla.
It's got a cowl. I don't know if I
Beautiful.
does that
Okay,
help?
that's better. Yeah, without the
Okay.
paper, it's better.
Okay. So this is
It
um
looks like
a
fused glass.
a Luminarc.
Luminarc. Okay.
Okay. It's got the
Okay.
sticker right there.
Mhm.
And it's, from everything I can tell, it's pretty pristine. And so my question is, do I go ahead and list this? Do I wait until like closer to spring? That's, that's like my biggest question, I guess.
Okay. First, I'm going to ask the chat. I'm going to ask you guys what you think. Listed now, hold on to it till spring. And while you guys are answering that, we're going to back over to eBay and kind of take a peek of what's happening with this particular brand. Luminarc. It's a vase, right?
It is. It's a vase.
Okay. 46 results.
Or it would be a really messy glass. I mean,
So we're not seeing that exact one.
Nope.
Have you found that exact one anywhere?
I have not.
Ah, I love that. Let me go back up. Now, here's what you have to remember.
That's typically what happens with anything I have. No, there doesn't seem to be
But
any.
most people, because it's only marked with a sticker, right?
Mm-hmm.
So most people who list this may not know that it's a Luminarc. So what you have to search is, I'm going to put glass. Oops. How do you spell calla? Oh, it's helping me. I love when it helps me with spelling. So you have to look at calla lily base. Who came up with that word? Because that's a lot of L's.
I'm sure a botanist somewhere, right?
Yeah. Can you see the chat?
Can I see the chat?
Yeah, because they are saying list now, list now, list now. Overwhelmingly list now.
Okay.
List now for Christmas.
I guess my biggest problem that I have is that so I have a starter store.
Uh-huh.
So I have 250 listings, and I try not to let this keep me up at night, because I think I have 91 things listed now. Because I only have so much time. And I went right out of the gate with the store the minute that
Good for you.
I mean, like right out of the gate, because I'm one of those people that believe if you invest money, you're more likely to keep up with it.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's why I don't join the gym, because I know that then I would make myself go, because I spent the money on it. So
Yep.
I knew that if I did the year subscription to the store, I would stick with it for at least that amount of time. So I feel like, because I don't have 250 listings, I'm leaving money on the table. And then I worry about, well, what happens when I get to 250 listings?
When you get to 250 listings, you keep listing.
I know.
So the only thing that you're not limited to 250 listings.
Yeah, you just pay an insertion fee. Yeah,
insertion fee.
I understand that. Yeah.
And then there's a point between when you're paying those insertion fees,
right,
and the next level is not immediate.
And you upgrade the store. Yeah.
Right. But sometimes paying the insertion fee is still the better deal until you get enough listings, and then you bump up to the next one. But don't let limiting yourself to those 250 zero insertion fees keep you from listing like a mad woman. Just keep listing, like keep putting up nice, desirable stuff, and you'll be surprised how quickly your inventory will grow. And the more your inventory grows, it's a numbers game. It's a sell-through. So
you mean my online inventory or the stuff that's in my house?
That you're on, well,
because I have a ton of stuff in my house. Well, I mean, I just have lots of stuff because
So do I hear you worrying about where you're going to store all this inventory as you list it? Okay.
And I'm really not, because I have a garage, I have an outbuilding, I have, a large basement, I have closets.
Okay, perfect.
We just moved back to be closer to family. So the house that we bought is much larger than what we've had in the past. So space isn't really an issue. It's just
That's
I have moved I shouldn't say people. I have moved my family's stuff for years and years and years and years. Like constantly. I don't know why I didn't think about eBay before this. I really don't. Like, it wasn't until my sisters and I had a yard sale this fall and we made $900, and we basically sold everything that was like really great, like all the Longenberger, all that stuff. But anyway, and I realized, like, okay, I know people are buying this to resell, and I didn't have an issue with that. I never have an issue with any of that. I mean, go make your money. That's how I always feel about it. Do it however you want, just as long as you're doing something. And but we had so much stuff left over, and my sister was really struggling with taking everything to Goodwill, because this is truly like what's left of our mom and dad.
So that's kind of how you got started then, listing things. And
it was more like, okay, she's like, okay, well, just go take it to Goodwill. I can't take it to Goodwill, but you go take it to Goodwill. And I was like, well, I'll just put it in the garage and we'll hold it another year and we'll have another yard sale. And that's what I've continually done over the years. And my husband told me this was the last time he moved anything that said yard sale on it.
Well, now you've got the store, you've got your eBay store. Now it's list.
Yeah.
Now, are you listing daily?
I'm trying. I struggle because I just so much I just don't know if it's listable. And then, like, I'll get caught up in this thing where I'll see something and I'll be like, oh, that's a thing too. Okay, well, maybe I need to start looking at those. And then I'll see something else. I'm like, oh, that's a thing. We've got those. Do you know what I mean? And then the thing that's bad is, well, not bad, it's good, but it's the problem that I run into is the things that we already have aren't necessarily the quick movers. I guess they're what you all consider long hauls.
Mm-hmm. And that's where you've got to do just your little bit of research. I'm not heavy into doing a lot of research, but you pull up your comps. I do that for every item I list.
And I do that.
And see, is it, me, I'm a $20 bill guy and gal for it to go on eBay. Actually, I'm upping that.
Right. And I don't have that kind of stuff. Like the stuff that's in the stuff that's left is more like, if you look at my store, the majority of my stuff is listed for $20 and under.
Okay. And are you happy with that? I mean, is that okay?
Oh, I'm fine with that.
Okay. Then just keep listing.
It's going to sit in my garage no matter
Here's
what I do.
Here's what's going to happen. Like, the time you're spending agitating over whether to list that item or not, you could have listed 3 items.
Yeah,
probably.
That's true.
And the worst case scenario is it doesn't sell. So give yourself a time frame of, okay, this has been listed for 6 months. This is now a Goodwill item.
Yeah.
Or
a yard sale item. A yard sale item. Yeah. This is now back in the yard sale totes. Right.
Make yourself.
That's what I've been.
I don't want to use the word business policies because that gets confusing with what eBay uses. But remember, you are the CEO of your business. You get to make your policies. You get to make your time frames and your dates and your pricing strategy. Sure, eBay is going to give you suggestions, and there's like 1,000 other people out there that will tell you the right way to do something. But at the end of the day, you pick something that works well for you. And when it stops working well for you, you look at it like in your little corporate meeting of yourself and go, you know what? I'm not happy with that anymore. I need to make a change. And then you just make a change. But think about that time element where you're struggling with, do I list it or do I not? You could have already had it listed.
Yeah.
And what's the worst that can happen? It doesn't
sell. Yeah. And I tell myself that, and I also tell myself that it doesn't matter. It can sit on eBay, or it can sit, it can sit in a yard sale tote that I've moved five times. So I've got a couple more questions if you've got time.
Okay. Let me just pop this on here real quick. Susie asked me, Danny, do you cross post on eBay and Etsy? I have free shipping on Etsy. People on eBay almost always make offers, almost never get full price for eBay. So do I just mark things up on Etsy to make up? So first part of that is yes, I use List Perfectly. For anybody who doesn't know about List Perfectly, it's an inventory management app that is amazing. And there's like 15 places you can cross post your listings. So you can create the listing in List Perfectly itself and then push it out to other places, or you can create your listing in eBay or Etsy or wherever and cross post it over to other places, however you want to do it. I do it in List Perfectly so that I can end everywhere in List Perfectly. It's all right there. So then when it comes to pricing strategies, you can, if different pricing strategies work for different places, by all means. When I list things on Cherish, my price on Cherish is way more than it is on eBay because of who the clientele is. So you always have to look at who's the clientele for that marketplace and price accordingly. That's why I'm not a big fan of Mercari. I'm probably going to offend some Mercari shoppers out there, but Mercari is the cheapo site. It gets the discount bargain basement site for finding. They don't even want professional sellers. They don't want us who are serious about making money online. I don't do Mercari. I got no tolerance for that. But yeah, you make different strategies for wherever you are going to list. Oh, and if you want to check out List Perfectly, of course, there's a Niche Lady perk. Use the code Niche Lady and you get 30% off your first month to try it out. And there's like a free, there's so many listings you can do for free just to test the waters and see how you like it too. I don't remember exactly how many it is. I know we were still talking about that calla lily vase real quick. I don't want to leave everybody hanging on that. I went to Google and I found, here's Luminarch Vereri. Oh, they got a fancy name going on there. Anyway, that one's on Etsy for $69.99. Here's one on Mercari for $65.
Are you saying 60?
Yes.
Oh.
What do you think it was worth?
Don't yell at me. Promise you won't yell at me.
I'm not gonna yell at you.
I was like thinking like 1995.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, and so this is important too. Let me bring us back here. So this is, if you don't find your item on eBay, do a quick Google search.
Oh, and I have to. To because so much of my, well, I shouldn't say so much, but I have run across many things that, so my mom had a party plan Rubbermaid bowl set from the 70s that she barely used. And then there was also like measuring scoops, and there were measuring scoops like cup size and half cups and such. And then there's a measuring spoon set. And I couldn't find that anywhere. I mean, I couldn't find it anywhere. Well, then I finally lucked into finding like an old eBay sale where they had it brand new in the package that had never been like, so it was like new old stock. And so that sold, I think, for $50, just the bowl set. So even though mine wasn't new, I just wadded it all together and listed it for $50. And I sold it. I mean, that was one of the first things that I sold. But there's so much like that I have that I can't find it. And I don't know if I can't find it because it's worth
that
something.
Might be you're putting in too many words to find it.
I don't know. Be
careful about putting in too many words.
Yeah, I don't know if I can't find it because it's that scarce still, because my family saved everything. They like took care. they took care of
Yeah.
everything and they found value in everything, or if it's because it's not worth anything.
Yeah. So
That's
just be
why.
careful about how many words. Like, remember when I was looking at the art, all I put in was that artist's last name to
Yes.
start.
Yeah, and he
So,
was easy. He's super easy to find. Yeah.
yeah.
Um.
Brandy
So
Hall, let me just give a little shout out. Brandy Hall just got top rated seller status in 90
awesome.
days. Woo, woo.
That's awesome.
So yeah, so I always do the Google, like, and I search in images. I don't do a Google, what do you call it when it's like Google? Yeah, I don't do that. I don't like it. I'm sorry, guys. I just don't like it.
It'll take
But
you down some rabbit holes
I
for
do the
sure.
image search where I pull up, like in this case, I put in Luminart Calla Lily vase. That's it. That's what it is, right? And then these are the first two results. It's showing me others that are for sale.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
And our chat friends were saying I need to list that now, right?
Yes, list it now.
Okay.
Because it's beautiful. Anything that has beauty and has a sentimental connection, there's no reason to wait.
Well, and I was also thinking people collect calla lilies. They might collect this certain kind of glassware, and it's Christmas.
And Easter's right around the corner, which is now the next thing for calla lily. I mean, it's not that
was
far
the
away.
reason I was asking about if I should
Right,
wait
I know.
until. Yeah, that was
But
the reason.
it's not too soon. It's not too soon.
Okay,
Especially
really.
since there's none on eBay. You have the only one.
Do you leave Christmas listings up all the time, or do you take them down after the holiday?
Oh, I don't take anything down.
No. Okay.
I don't take anything down.
Okay.
If it was worth listing, it's worth listing, keeping it up there till it sells.
Okay. And then I just have one more thing, and I really appreciate this.
Okay, if it's a quick one, because I got to go over titles here too.
Oh yeah, I'm so sorry. Okay.
There are people that buy Christmas all year long.
Okay. These like Afghans and such, and I don't even know how many I have. Like I have 2 here, I've got 2 over there, and there's probably more elsewhere. Do you research by size?
Yeah, it's a crocheted Afghan, and there's granny square. There's different patterns.
Right. Yes, I
and
understand.
then there's different ages. So if you know it's vintage, list it as vintage crocheted Afghan.
And the size.
Kind of look at the sizing, but it's really about personal preference on colors and quality and all of that,
texture and softness,
and on the high end of what you see.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thanks for coming on, Amy.
You're so welcome. All right, great. Thank you. Have a great night.
Okay, so let's fine tune into these titles, because we all know that the way to have your item be purchased by somebody is it has to show up first. It has to show up in their search results. And for those who may not know what happened, I don't even know how long it's been now. A little trivia question. When did eBay change the user policy to say that your listing may not show up? Like, there was a pivotal point there, because I know there was a big hubbub about it, where we literally had to agree that we know we're paying the listing fee to put the item on there, but it may not show up. So anyway, that was a big change for eBay and for all of us, because now it isn't that your item is going to show up and everybody who's searching for that item's search results, which that's a game changer. Was it 2017, Joni? That sounds about right. That does sound about right. And we have seen the results of that over the last few years of people saying, like, my sales are not what they used to be. And so the big piece of that is that your item has to come up in a potential buyer's search result for them to even consider buying your item, right? And so a lot of that comes down to the title, and also, and this is why they're so big on these item specifics, you guys. You see like the surface stuff going on, which is the required item specifics, the recommended item specifics. All of that surface stuff is because of what they're doing underneath there, trying to drive the best result to any particular person that's making a search query on eBay. That's why all that stuff is so important. So your title, and then of course your item specifics, are your best possible way for your item to show up to match what your best possible buyer is looking for. And so the way you do that is to try and phrase, not just put words, but phrase your title in a way that it has 3, 4, 5 words strung together that somebody would have put into search. So let me just like put this back on the screen here. So in this case, if somebody is looking for a glass calla lily vase, if that is the first 4 words of my title, you can see I'm going to pull up some. Well, let me go to blah, 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 not solds. Let's see. Show me all. Refresh. There we go. So 361 results. Not all of those are going to show up on the first page, right? I'm going to go to best match, which is how most people see things. So now there are different things that happen too when you do that search. And it some of it has to do with how new the listing is, pictures, return policy, pricing, of course. But okay, so now we've got calla lily vases showing up, right? But now my ideal customer, or Amy's ideal customer, is going to be that person that knows it's a Luminarc. Oops, I pressed the caps key. They know it's a Luminarc. I might even take out glass. There we go. Luminarc calla lily vase. Let's see. We don't have any. So Amy's going to list that, and she's going to have the only one, which is such a beautiful thing, because now she's going to come up in that search. Whereas the person who doesn't know that it's Luminarc and just puts glass calla lily vase has got to compete with those 300 and some other listings. See how that works, you guys? I wish there was at least one, but there's not. No. Somebody give me an item. Okay, Ken Edwards pottery. There's another one. Yeah, well, with that, you're going to have, I know I'm going to get a ton of results if I do this. Let's put vase, because there's less vases than other stuff. 652 results for Mexican pottery vase, right? But if I put in Ken Edwards, ooh, I've got 50 results now. And my best customer is going to know it's a Ken Edwards. They're going to know the value of that. And then I'm going to show up in there. Oh, those are solds. Sorry. Let me go back to not solds. 166. That's still 166 versus, you take out the Ken Edwards, 5,871. So words are important, but the right words are important. What you don't want to do is put in Ken Edwards Mexican pottery vase, beautiful, brown, tall. You don't want to just throw words in there to throw words in there. And it used to be you wanted to use up the entire space of your title. That changed. That is gone. Those days are gone. You do not want to just use spaces in the title for the sake of using spaces in the title. Relevance is your word of the day. This is what eBay bases everything off of, is relevance to the buyer who is searching and typing something in. And so Cassini was the project, the search engine thing that they called it. it never got completed. It's kind of a mystery of what's going on with the whole search algorithm, but they didn't want to just base it on title and the item. They wanted to base it on that customer's buying behavior and searching behavior from the past. Is this a customer who searches for expensive things? Do they sort by highest? All of these things were supposed to be incorporated in, and I don't think they're ever going to complete that project. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But the search algorithm kind of got left hanging because the guy who had invented that, oh, Bougie's going to talk to us here in a minute. Are you talking? You want to say hi? Hi. Say something. Hello. Hello. She'll start squawking in a minute. But the original guy that started the project left eBay and kind of left it hanging, and nobody knew how to finish it. I think I read something like last year that he came back, but I don't know. They may have gone in a whole different direction now. And even though none show on eBay, when you type that, if you type that, you check Google, I have found eBay listings that did not come up. That's what I'm talking about. That's exactly it, because eBay isn't showing you everything because they don't have their system perfected. It would be nice. It would be nice if they could get there. But for now, we have to try as much as we can to put in the words that are most likely to match what a person is searching for. Like, and I'm talking about the person who knows what they want, because you have general searches. You have, somebody who's just looking for art glass, and now that's harder to deal with. For me, anyway, I want the customer who knows what they're looking for, because that's the customer. Remember when I talked at the beginning, you have the two different kind of customers. You kind of have the browser, you have they don't really care if they find it today. They're just kind of looking and they want a good, cheap price. But then you have the collector, you have the interior designer, you have the person who has the money to spend. They know what they want. You put that in your title and you convey really nice pictures, and the price is right. Doesn't have to be the lowest price. Remember that. If the price is right for their budget and their trust in your listing is high, they will buy. They will be your best buyers. And they usually will not be the ones who are going to scam you or try to return it or do all that stuff. People who are shopping when they shouldn't be shopping, and they're looking for the cheapest price for something that they really shouldn't be buying, are the ones that are most likely to get it and have buyer's remorse and come up with a reason why they need to send it back and get their money back. So just remember that. People with money to spend usually don't want to be bothered with returning something. They are the ones that will turn around and just give it to Goodwill if they don't want it. And then somebody else buys it, and we start that cycle all over again. But yeah, can you hear her? Booty, what are you doing? What are you doing? She gets loud. She does get loud. Should you start with the type of piece or the brand name artist? So as Nort, that's a great question. And again, remember what I said. There is no one size fits all, and every item needs to be weighed on the information for that item. For the most part, I find that using the artist or designer or the brand name will result in the person who's looking for that. But if it's like an off brand name, or if it's it doesn't necessarily have like a name that everybody knows, sometimes putting that later is better, because somebody may just be looking for that thing versus for that artist, and that's the piece you kind of have to figure out. And you can look at the sold listings and see hey, are all of these ones that have sold at the top price, is it because they had the artist or the brand or the designer first, or was that later on in the title, which will kind of help you. But remember, that's an item specific too. So item specific can kind of back up the title. And that's what I said. It's a little more complicated now than just the title, because the item specifics do make a difference. And if your item specific and your title are backing each other up and your description then backs those up too, then that's really what eBay's looking for. I have a 24-inch green glass vase I can't find anywhere. Uncle Andy, come post that over in the Niche to Profit group. That's what we do best over there. Thank you for the reminder, for the thumbs up. I never generally ask for that, and I really appreciate it. It does help the video. It does help when you guys leave comments after the fact. All that stuff helps. So I do appreciate that. Thank you. I'm just starting to climb back out of my little pit of not having videos for a while. YouTube did not like that, and it's a little scary. but the last couple of videos, now that I'm shopping again, you guys are watching, so thank you. Thank you. How can I tell painted wood from pinged resin? I don't know what pinged resin is. Generally, resin is going to have some kind of striations on the bottom, because remember, resin is generally cut either by machine or by hand or whatever, and the bottoms show like it's a certain graining that wood doesn't have. So that for me is like, if you can't feel the difference, then looking at that bottom and looking for those lines that it's cut, off of like a resin block is your best way. Oh my goodness, it's already 2 o'clock. I have to go see what progress is being made on my aquarium. I am so excited. We don't get to put any like living things in it for a couple of weeks. So there's not going to be anything exciting with that. Peanut, don't you do anything bad over on that carpet. It takes about 2 weeks for the tank to cycle, to get all the good bacteria balanced out so we don't kill anything when we first put it in there. But in about 2 weeks, I will have my little aquarium up and running. Very excited. You got to find the right words. It's important to use the ones that matter. Yeah, and that is the challenge. And if it was super easy, you guys, then everybody would be a super successful eBay seller. But it can be a little challenging. And that is why I'm all about niche. Because if you find the words that make you an expert in what you sell, you will get the buyer confidence. You will also get eBay's confidence in that, hey, look, they're selling in this category very, very well. We want to boost more listings up. So that's why I'm all about the niche. That's where my name came from. And niche isn't about a certain set of products. It's about the demographic of people that you are selling to. And will they walk into my store and enjoy shopping there? Because I have things that even though they may not want to buy this piece, it's still enjoyable to look at on the shelf, kind of a mentality. So think about that. Just like if you are a clothing seller, picking a genre of clothing, which type of woman are you catering to? Which type of man are you catering to? And really build your niche around that. And you will see great things happen. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you to my moderators over there, keeping things going for me. Got the little wrenches next. I think Julia already had to buzz out to go do her little live sale she does after this. I am going to do a book sale, you guys. So my organizer comes on Thursday. I'm very excited about. So I'm thinking once we get done with that, I'm going to do the book sale. So I don't want to do it as my regular Friday sale, but maybe Thursday night. Maybe Thursday night I'll do a little pop-up book sale. Maybe. It'll either be Thursday night or it'll be Saturday. One of those others. But be watching for that. And the way to make sure that you don't miss that is to, number one, be sure you're subscribed over on YouTube. I know I've got some Facebook watchers. Subscribe over on the YouTube channel and set the little notifications for all, and then it's going to pop up when I go live. All right. I am very excited about the organizer too. Like, I'm so excited. She's been wanting me to like, okay, now think ahead. Like, you've got these pot, like, where do you want this stuff to go? And like, okay, I got this. But then all he'll do is loan me a truck to take 10 loads to Goodwill. When I say books, I'm referring to like research books, like, you know, like the identification books. And I have so many that I've had to pare down and just stick with, like, so I'm going to have some glass, jewelry, pottery, toys, different collectibles, and then some other stuff. All right, you guys, have a fantastic week. And with that, go be profitable and make it fun. And we'll see you on the next one.